Hello again, everybody. This is Mr. Everything, and I'm coming at you with another Wargaming and Miniature video. In this video, we're continuing on with our 100 Years War project. I'm still working with my magnetic bases and my knights and trying to figure out what color would be the best to base my magnetic bases so that when I put the knights on the bases, they won't look so hideous. All right, so I want it to look the best. So I actually went out and found a bunch of different greens at my local Lowe's and Home Depot and Walmart, and painted up some bases. As you can see, these bases painted up on the top there. And then I also hit them with a flat crystal clear to take any of the shine away. Because I can tell you, this one right here, the Fusion All-in-One Satin Spring Gloss, grass was actually glossy. You know, satin is kind of glossy, where matte is kind of flat. It's not, it still has a little bit of a gloss. So I wanted to take all the gloss off all of these by using a flat crystal clear. This is the green felt, and this is extremely close to the color of most of my tables that I play. This is the flock color that I'm using, which you can see right here. This is the majority of my flock is pretty close to this color. This is Battlefield Grass Green. Okay, Army Painters Battlefield Grass Green, and that's what these are based with. And that actually has kind of a little bit of a yellow in it. You can see how it's not exactly this color. You can see how they don't match. What I wanted to do was find a paint that would match this color, which in fact in theory would match these colors, and then I would be able to put these figures on the base, and they would kind of blend together to form, you know, so that the magnetic base would disappear. Okay, well, these are all black magnets that have been spray painted. Now I want this to be the color, just looking at it. I want this to be the color, but I don't think it's actually going to be the color, because it looks like, just looking at the cap, it looks like that is going to be the closest. These are all kind of, that's like a big contrast. That's a super big contrast. That almost looks brown. That is a dark, what do they call it? Deep forest green, which it seems to be almost like a really dark olive, and it almost looks black to me, right? So that's, I think that one's just out. Those guys are just way too big of a contrast from the table and from the figures. I don't think that one's going to be it, so we'll just put that one right there. I thought this one might be it because I was trying to get a brighter green because I knew that these were brighter, but that looks a little bit too green, if you know what I mean, just plain green. And so when I look at these, they don't even, that's just too bright, way too bright. So that's out. Okay, now I did consider brown, mainly because the gravel that I use on my under base is brown. So I figured that if the base was brown, just flat brown, it would match up with part of the base that is brown. And the jury is still out on the brown. I kind of like the brown, actually. Okay, the brown kind of blends with the green, and the what it also does is it makes the base, it makes the unit base stand out like, what am I trying to say? Like you would see the unit on the table if that was all brown, right? Okay, so brown is still not completely 100% out, but I'm still not sure about that one. All right, so now when we get to these three here, we got the matte Spanish moss. It's not a bad color, actually. That's really not a bad color. It blends pretty good with this one, but we're going to hold on to that just a second. We're going to look at the satin Kibuya. What do they call this? Spruce green, right? Spruce green and Spanish moss. Now that's Rust-Oleum, that's Krylon. They're almost identical. So those are good options. Okay, and then I went with a slightly lighter color, which is called Satin Italian Olive. So that's kind of like an olive color, olive drab almost, but it's not drab. This is more drab. That's actual olive, which makes it a little bit too light, I think. I mean, it's like a gray almost. That olive color comparatively to those, you can see that that's a lot lighter, but it's more gray. Actually, that actually looks best in this light. I don't know, it might be this guy, which is the matte Spanish moss. Possibly. Okay. And then I revisited the Army Green. Army Green has a little bit of yellow in it. Like I said, it's probably the closest match. I thought this was just too light of a color, but it's more green than these are, in my opinion. And it's not as dark as this one, still a little bit green. And I think that these models once placed on that magnet kind of disappears. Kind of almost completely disappears. So I think that my Rust-Oleum Camouflage Army Green, I think that's exactly what it's called, Army Green, is the winner. I think that's going to be the winner. I love these other colors. I think they're great. And I'm actually, another thing I'm considering is doing like four base increments. I mean, there's going to be multiple units, but like in 4 base increments, doing one like that, 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 one like that. And that way, when the bases are on the table, you know which ones are in which units. I thought about doing that. That way, like I'll have 4 of these color, and it'll just be a subtle enough difference that you'll be able to tell which units are in which. Another thing I thought about doing was hand painting the base with maybe an exact color of this, but I don't want to labor over that. I just want to do a spray paint. And also I was afraid that by hand painting it, I would, first of all, not make it smooth anymore, but also ruin the magnetic characteristics. Because if the paint is too thick, then you're not going to have a good adherence with the magnet. So yeah, I think it's going to be this color primarily. 99% of the Army is going to be this, but and then I'm going to keep these for other projects that I might have, terrain projects and things like that. So yeah, I just want to keep you up to date. And this is a 100 Years War update, and I'm talking about painting my maggots. And okay, well, that's all I wanted to say. And now I can crack on with assembling all the models. I pretty much have put together 3 of the Perry boxes. I haven't done the cavalry yet, and then what I need to do is start painting. I don't want to paint though until I figure out whose units are where and how many of them are there and stuff like that. And I haven't done any kind of order of battle yet. So that's really my next step, is to do a little bit of research. And I might actually do that on camera with you guys. You can watch me labor through doing some research, getting the numbers, the men, which nobles had how many men and what they were equipped with, stuff like that. I want to do all of that before I start painting, because I don't want to paint up some. But then on the other hand, I probably don't even want to bother with that. I probably, and this is a thought process that's going through my head. I think I just want to take my army lists and just make a generic army, and make it large enough that I can pick and choose what units I'm using in different battles that might actually have transpired, and not worry so much about the paint schemes of people that were at a specific battle, but just use the correct paint schemes for certain units, and then use them to proxy them as other units if I need to. So that's probably the direction I'm going to go. But I need to now just start determining which units I'm actually going to do, and what kind of figures are in each unit. It shouldn't be too hard, because most of them are all identical. We're calling them just heavy infantry and archers and crossbowmen and men-at-arms and knights. It's not like it's rocket science, but I just need to get down to do it. All right, guys, thanks for checking this video out, and continue to watch the updates as you see me progress with my 100 Years War. All right, see you on the next one.